6 months after graduating from a master's degree in chemistry, I realized I made a huge mistake. Monday morning, my manager was talking to me about a new project. She stopped mid-sentence, stared at me, and said, "Wake up. Are you sleeping enough these days?" I was sleeping 7 to 8 hours a night. I was exercising, eating well, doing all the right things. But ever since I started working in biotech, I'd lost a part of me that could look ahead and feel alive with possibility. The part that could sense there was more waiting just beyond the horizon. And without it, I was moving through the days like a phantom, ticking off checklists. I chose biotech because it was responsible. Job prospects were good. My parents approved. And I liked how people reacted when I told them I'm a scientist. But my body was telling me that it wasn't right for me. And the longer I ignored that message, the louder it became. Maybe you know what I'm talking about? Having worked so hard to get somewhere, only to realize it's not where you want to be. You look around and all you can see is the time, money, and effort you've already invested. But there's no meaning, no fulfillment. And everything just starts feeling heavy in a way that you can't even explain. I knew I needed an exit plan. The way I was feeling inside was starting to show on the outside. It was just a matter of time before they let me go. So I studied hard and applied to dental school. My parents were so excited. That felt good. Even if I didn't love being a dentist, I could always set up my own clinic, have my own hours, be my own boss. That's what excited me. Application results came in when I was at work. I opened that email immediately. "Thank you for your application, but..." I don't know how I read the rest of that email with my poker face on, because everything inside of me collapsed. I was out of moves. Sitting with that failure made me realize that every major decision I'd made to that point in my life had been shaped by others. Who to be, how to be, what to do, where to work, when to work. I had no faith in choosing for myself. But slowly, I start to remember that I actually liked chemistry. In high school and university, many of my classmates struggled, especially with organic chemistry. They found it frustrating and confusing. But for me, it felt like solving puzzles, and I enjoyed working on those problems. So maybe chemistry hadn't been a mistake. Maybe I wasn't seeing all the options. And around the same time, my mom's friend's daughter needed tutoring. I agreed to help her out on weekends, but I felt nervous about it because I never tutored before, even though I did well in school. After the first session, the student said, "I learned more from you in an hour than I have the whole term." And I really wanted to tell her that I felt more alive in that 1 hour than I have the whole time I've spent in the lab. From there, 1 student became 2, then 5. The thing is, teaching was never something I thought about exploring before because until I was 13 years old, I had a severe social anxiety disorder called selective mutism. Speaking to even one person often made me feel like I was standing up on stage, and that's the level of anxiety I had to deal with. Because of that, growing up, barely any adult, except my own parents, heard my voice. Now, it felt extra special that I was using my voice to make a difference for somebody else. After 3 years, I left biotech so I could tutor full-time. And I took my high-achieving immigrant parents out for coffee to tell them. And they told me things like, how will you make a living? There are already too many tutors out there. Nobody likes their job. But they realized that I needed to do this. Eventually, I set up my own tutoring company where I hired other tutors and mentored them in helping students. After a few years, the work inspired me to share my ideas and insights about grades K-12 education in media, which then led to speaking at nonprofit organizations and corporations, and that led to coaching. I created a path that I could have never imagined or planned for. And it made me realize that every experience, even the wrong turns, can become part of our path if we bring presence and awareness to them. Now I can look back and realize that my rejection from dental school was one of the biggest gifts I've ever received in my life. Every time I go to my dentist, I am so relieved I'm the one lying back on that chair. Over the last 15 years, I've repeated the same 3 actions continuously to cultivate presence and awareness and turn my work into a path of self-discovery and transformation. Are you ready for it? Here they are. Action 1, hone a skill. To become a great tutor, I first had to be a great student. And the years I spent in the lab experimenting, observing, failing, all improved my attention and my patience. This was the foundation I used to create a company from the ground up. The skills and habits we are building right now, even in our imperfect jobs, can create the foundation and the transition we need later on for a different purpose. Action 2, interrupt the hamster wheel. And we can do this by questioning the assumptions underneath our actions. What is this setback teaching me about myself? What is being revealed here about my boundaries, my mindset, my behavior? And what belief created this pattern? And this is where failure can become the key to our success. Failing to get into dental school was exactly what I needed to interrupt my hamster wheel, because it brought me face to face with the limiting assumption that I needed another degree, more credentials, more permission to begin meaningful work when in fact, I already had everything I needed. Action 3, use work to heal. We all have wounds of some kind, and often, without realizing it, our work calls us into contact with those very parts of ourselves that was once suppressed, silenced, underdeveloped. So in addition to training our skills, work can become a place of healing because it offers us a structured and meaningful way to engage with those capacities that once felt unsafe or unavailable. Everything that felt aligned for me had me speaking in some way, whether private one-on-one sessions or in groups. I didn't think of it as healing at the time, but the path I followed kept strengthening my voice. What might feel like a dead-end job for you right now can be the very thing that leads you back to an aligned path without you even needing to make a drastic or scary move like quitting or going back to school. When we bring presence and awareness to where we are, checking with our energy, our resistance, and what quietly comes alive, we start seeing the field of possibility, even inside an imperfect job. In a time when anyone can build an app, write a book, create a film, make music, we're often taught to ask limiting and fear-based questions like, which jobs will survive? I've been there. I know that question. And it kept me focused on surviving instead of meaning. There are better questions. What do I want to create that is unique to me and my way of being? What do I have to say and share with the world? Start there. Start today. Thank you.